This meal in Venice cost me 347 Australian dollars. And yeah, I was furious. Until I realized I was the problem. Over 3 years of travel, I've learned that most of us aren't being scammed. We're just really bad at researching before we go. Let me show you what I mean. After visiting 47 countries and comparing notes with hundreds of Australian travellers, I've identified a pattern. There are 10 destinations where we consistently overpay, sometimes massively. But here's the thing. About 40% of this is actual scams we need to avoid. The other 60%? It's us not understanding how different places work, assuming Australian norms apply everywhere, or just being too embarrassed to ask questions. Today, I'm breaking down both. The actual scams you need to watch for, and the cultural differences you need to understand. Because smart travel isn't about being paranoid, it's about being informed. Quick disclaimer before we start, I'm going to separate each country into 3 categories. Actual scams, illegal or deceptive practices, price differences, legal but expensive cultural norms. Our mistakes, things we could prevent with research. Because calling everything a scam isn't fair to locals just trying to make a living, and it doesn't help us become better travellers. I've lived in 3 of these countries, and I've made all these mistakes myself. So let's learn together. Number 10, Italy. And this is probably where I learned the biggest lesson about cultural differences versus scams. Actual scams to watch for, fake police checking wallets. Real police never ask to see your cash gladiators at Colosseum demanding $50 for photos. The photo is free, but they aggressively demand payment. Restaurant menu switching, showing one menu, billing from another with higher prices. Legitimate price differences. Here's what frustrated me initially. Coperto charges, $2.04 per person to sit down, and pain, $1.02 for bread. I thought this was a scam until I learned this is standard practice, disclosed on menus and applied to everyone, not just tourists. The real issue? Location pricing. Same carbonara, tourist area near Trevi Fountain, 24, 3 streets away, 12, local neighbourhood, Saint Thomas. Where we go wrong. We sit at the first restaurant we see when we're tired and hungry, right in the most expensive tourist zones. Italians walk 5 minutes to eat. We don't. What actually works? Check menus for Coperto Servizio charges before sitting. Use Google Maps to walk 400-500 meters from major monuments. Look for restaurants full of Italian families, not tour groups. Download the Fork app, Italian Yelp, for price transparency. According to 2025 eNeat tourism data, tourists who research neighbourhoods before visiting spend 45-60% less on meals than those who don't. Number 9, Thailand, where the scams are real, but so is incredible value if you know what you're doing. Actual scams. The jet ski damage scam is the big one, and it's been getting worse in Phuket and Pattaya. Here's how it works. You rent a jet ski, return it, they find damage that wasn't there and demand 50,000, 80,000 baht. $2,200 and $3,500 AUD. They'll involve police, sometimes corrupt ones, and hold your passport. The Australian Embassy in Bangkok logged 347 jet ski scam reports from Aussies in 2024 alone. This is systematic fraud, not cultural difference. Other confirmed scams. Gem shop taxi driver scams, closed for cleaning, we know a better place. Ping pong show extortion. 3,000 plus surprise bills. Grand Palace, closed today. Tuk-tuk diversions to commission shops. Price differences. Tourist prices versus local prices in markets are real, but they're negotiable. That's the cultural norm. The starting price for foreigners might be 300% higher, but everyone haggles. Our mistake. I paid 1,200 baht for a tuk-tuk ride that should have been 100 baht because I didn't confirm the price before getting in. That's on me, not Thailand. For jet skis, film complete walk-around video. Before leaving dock with timestamps, use GoPro footage as insurance, or just don't rent jet skis in Phuket. Honest recommendation for tuk-tuks. Use Grab, Thai Uber. Prices are fixed in the app if using tuk-tuk. Agree on price before entering and show them written figure. Learn basic Thai numbers. Prices often drop when you respond in Thai. Number 8. France, specifically Paris. And I need to be honest about something I got completely wrong initially. Actual scams. Gold ring scam near Eiffel Tower. Someone finds a ring near you, insists it's yours, then demands reward petition scam. Clipboard scammers distract while pickpocketing. 3-card Monty. Street gambling games. Always rigged. Legitimate cultural norms. Here's what I learned. French cafes charge differently based on where you consume. At the bar, debout, $2.50 for espresso seated inside, salé, $4.50, terrasse, $7.50. This isn't a tourist tax. This is French law dating back decades about rental space versus service space. Locals know this and choose accordingly. We don't, so we always sit at terraces. Where we go wrong, we assume cafe seating works like Australia. Same price everywhere. It doesn't. That $24 I spent on coffee and a croissant. I sat at a terrace directly facing Notre Dame at 9 a.m. Peak location, peak time. A local would have grabbed it at the bar for $5. Let's be real, and we do the same thing in Australia. Coffee at Bondi Beach, $6.50. Same coffee in Penrith, $4.20. That's a 55% markup for location, and we think it's normal. Check the 3-tier pricing board before ordering. Stand at the bar like locals do. Walk 3 blocks from major monuments for 40 to 60% savings. Download Too Good To Go app for end-of-day deals. Number 7. Maldives. This is where I learned expensive lessons about reading fine print. Actual deceptive practices. The all-inclusive marketing that isn't actually all-inclusive is borderline deceptive. I booked a resort advertised as $4,200 for 5 nights, all-inclusive. Fine print revealed. Select beverages meant house wine only. Cocktails at $28,045 each. Water sports meant paddleboard only. Diving, jet ski, parasailing all extra. All meals meant buffet only. A la carte restaurants require 85,150 supplements. Final cost, $9,800. That feels manipulative. Legitimate but expensive. Import costs in Maldives are genuine. Everything comes by boat or plane. That $45 cocktail includes 200% import tax plus island logistics. Still expensive, but not a scam. Our mistake. Not reading the 47-page booking terms or calling the resort to ask, what exactly does all-inclusive include? Honest alternative assessment. Similar luxury in Philippines, $5,500 total. Similar luxury in Fiji, $6,200 total. Thailand luxury all-inclusive, $4,800 total, actually inclusive. If you want Maldives specifically, budget for double your quoted price. If you want luxury beaches with better value, consider alternatives. Number 6. Dubai. The king of hidden fees, but at least they're disclosed if you read carefully. Actual scams, fake taxi app scams, cloned apps that look like official Dubai Taxi Corporation, gold souk weight scams, manipulated scales in some tourist-heavy shops, desert safari. Add-on shocks, free safari becomes $300 with mandatory add-ons. Legitimate fees, that should be more transparent. Dubai's hotel fee structure is legal but frustrating. Base room, $220 night. Tourism fee, 6 to 10%. Municipality fee, 10%. Service charge, 10%. Actual cost, $286,297. Night. Since 2024, major booking platforms now show total price, including fees up front, after EU regulations forced transparency. If you're seeing hidden fees, you're using outdated booking methods. Cultural pricing. Reality. Alcohol is only legal in licensed venues, hotels, specific clubs. This creates natural monopoly pricing. Beer, 16 to 24, cocktails, 22 to 35. Wine bottle, 85 to 140. This isn't a scam, it's supply-demand in a regulated market. Our mistake. Booking through third-party sites instead of direct hotel booking, not using Dubai Metro 2 for for cross-city travel versus $30 and $50 taxis, and drinking without checking prices first. Book hotels directly through their websites. Better transparency. Use Careem or Dubai taxi official apps only. Check gold purity certificates and ask for receipt with weight. BYOB to your hotel room. Allowed if purchased at Dubai duty-free. Number 5. Bali. And I need to have an uncomfortable but honest conversation with my fellow Aussies about this one. Actual scams, corrupt police drug checks, planting evidence, demanding bribes, fake money changes, using calculator tricks or counting incorrectly, deliberate wrong change, especially in areas like Kuta Transport app, hijacking, fake Grab/Gojek drivers at airport dual pricing. Reality. Yes, there's tourist pricing versus local pricing. But let's be honest about what's happening. Show price example. Warung meal in Bahasa, 45,000 IDR, $4 AUD. Same meal ordered in English. 120,000 IDR, $10.50 AUD. Is this fair? That's complicated. Indonesian minimum wage is $250 a month. Australian minimum wage is $4,000 a month. Many Balinese see charging us more as wealth redistribution, not scamming. Where we're part of the problem, we've created this. We flooded Bali, drove up property costs 400% in areas like Canggu, displacing locals, and then complained when they charged us more. 2024 study. Australians comprise 35% of Bali tourists, but generate 52% of tourism revenue through willingness to overpay. We've trained them to charge us more. What actually works? Learn basic Bahasa phrases and numbers. Shop where locals shop, not in Seminyak. Canggu use price-checked apps like Happy Cow for restaurants. Stay in local homestays instead of Aussie-filled villas. Accept that paying more than locals isn't always exploitation. Context matters, but also tipping 20-50% because it's cheap for us has inflated service expectations. We did this. Number 4. Greek islands, particularly Mykonos and Santorini. This taught me about seasonal tourism economics. Actual illegal practices, menu price switching, no prices displayed, then charging arbitrary amounts, fish weight scams, showing small fish, serving large fish, charging per kilogram, club entry fee. Extortion. £50 entry becomes 300 plus minimum spend once inside. Greek tourism authorities issued warnings in 2024 about restaurants in Mykonos operating without displayed prices. This is illegal. Seasonal premium pricing. Here's the reality. These islands have 4-month tourist seasons, May-September, to generate entire year's income. Restaurants pay £50,000, £100,000 just for seasonal lease rights. Same Greek meal. Athens year-round restaurant. 22, Mykonos peak season, July. 68, Mykonos off-season, November. 35. That's economics, not scamming. Though it feels painful. Our mistake. I ordered fish without asking the price. Rookie error. It came to $240 AUD. Could I have asked beforehand? Absolutely. Did I? No, because I was embarrassed to seem cheap. That's on me. Australian coastal restaurants do the same thing. Sydney beachfront seafood versus Western Sydney seafood has similar 200-300% markup. Always ask exact prices before ordering anything. If menu has no prices, walk away. Use Greek tourism app EFFPA to verify businesses have proper licensing. Visit in shoulder season, May-October, for 40-50% savings. Consider alternative islands, Naxos, Paros, Milos, have similar beauty at 50% cost. Number 3. Egypt. This is where actual scams are significant, and the Australian Embassy has specific warnings. Actual systematic scams. According to DFAT's Smart Traveller site, updated January 2025, these scams are prevalent. Camel, horse ride extortion, free ride, then won't let you down without payment. 50 to 150 sons. Fake antiquities police. Demand to see purchases, confiscate items, require fine papyrus shop pressure. High pressure sales using psychological manipulation. Perfume shop, taxi diversions. Drivers get commissions, you get marked up. 500%. Currency exchange manipulation, short-changing, fake bills in change. The Australian Embassy in Cairo reports 200+ scam complaints annually from tourists, the highest rate in the Middle East. Aggressive pricing, legal but uncomfortable. Tourism is 12% of Egypt's GDP. With economic challenges, inflation over 30% in 2024, there's intense pressure on tourism workers. This doesn't excuse harassment, but provides context. Where we can prepare better, book official guides through your hotel. About 50,080 £80 a day. Use Uber in Cairo. Avoids taxi negotiations. Decline all free offers firmly and immediately don't accept help from unofficial guides. Video record exchanges if feeling pressured. Egypt requires more active scam awareness than most destinations. But the history and culture are incredible. Just go prepared. Number 2, Morocco, where cultural shopping practices meet aggressive tourism tactics. Actual predatory practices. The fake guide problem in Marrakesh is real. Someone offers to help you find your hotel, leads you through confusing Medina alleys. You become disoriented. Demands $50,100 for guide services. May get aggressive if refused. TripAdvisor analysis, 2024, shows 68% of negative Morocco reviews mention this specific scenario. Traditional haggling culture meets tourism. Moroccan souk culture is based on negotiation. Starting price is 300,500% above expected final price. This applies to locals too, just with different starting points. The problem? Tourist starting price might be 1,000% above local starting price, then both haggle down. You still pay more, but everyone's participating in the cultural practice. Where we misunderstand, the uncle's shop mint tea scenario. That's traditional hospitality mixed with business. In Moroccan culture, sharing tea does create social obligation. We interpret it as manipulation. Locals see it as normal commerce. Should tourists be exempt from cultural business practices? Debatable. Should the starting prices for tourists be 10x local prices? Also debatable. Research typical prices on Morocco tourism forums beforehand. Be prepared to walk away. Most effective negotiation tool. Politely decline all help offers immediately. Use Google Maps offline to navigate Medina's book riads, traditional hotels that include pickup service. Consider hiring official guide for first day, $40,060 to learn the city. Number 1. The United States. Now, I know putting America at number 1 might seem controversial, but hear me out. Actual scams, credit card skimming, particularly at gas stations in tourist areas. Fake parking ticket, unofficial tickets with payment QR codes. Timeshare presentation traps, free tickets requiring pressure sales attendance. Cultural systems that frustrate. Australians, tipping culture. Is tipping a scam? No. It's how American service workers are paid, often 2 to 3 hour base wage. Do we like it? Also no, but calling it a scam isn't fair to workers struggling in that system. $50 meal becomes $67 after tax, 8 to 10% depending on state. Expected tip, 18 to 20%. In Australia, we built wages into menu prices. America didn't. Neither system is scamming, they're just different economic models. Resort fees, these are frustrating. $200,000 night room with $45,000 night in resort fees disclosed in fine print. Since 2024, US regulations require more prominent fee disclosure, but it's still intentionally confusing. Australia isn't innocent either. Let's be honest, Australia charges international tourists heavily too. Great Barrier Reef tours. Domestic price $180, international tourist price $280 Uluru. Entry, free for locals, $38. For international visitors. Sydney Harbour attractions. Variable pricing based on booking location. 2024 Tourism Australia study. International visitors pay average 22% more than domestic tourists for identical experiences. We're doing the same thing we're complaining about. The real issue, the problem isn't that America is scamming us. It's that we expect Australian norms to apply everywhere. When they don't, we feel cheated. But travel is about adapting to how different places work. Budget for 25% above menu prices. Tax plus tip. Book hotels directly and ask about all fees. Use apps like Gas Buddy to avoid sketchy gas stations. Travel health insurance is essential. Healthcare costs are real. Compare US prices to what international tourists pay in Australia. Context helps. Here's what I learned after making all these mistakes across 47 countries. About 35–40% of getting ripped off is actual scams we need to actively avoid. About 60–65% is us not researching local prices, expecting Australian cultural norms everywhere. Being too embarrassed to ask questions, not understanding basic economics of tourism zones. Assuming malice instead of different business practices. The average Australian tourist does overpay on international trips. Probably $200, $1,800 per trip based on consumer studies. But most of that is preventable through research and adjustment, not by being angry at entire countries. We need to be smarter travellers, not angrier ones. That means learning basic phrases, understanding local culture before arriving, accepting that tourist zones cost more everywhere, including Australia, recognizing actual scams versus price differences, being willing to walk away from bad deals, doing 2–3 hours of research before visiting anywhere, and maybe most importantly, recognizing that as travelers from one of the world's wealthiest countries, sometimes paying a bit more isn't exploitation, it's just how global economics work. Drop a comment telling me what surprised you most from this video, or share the smartest travel hack you've learned. I'm genuinely curious what strategies work for other Aussie travelers. Subscribe if you want honest travel advice that treats you like an intelligent adult, not just rage bait content. I post researched travel analysis every Tuesday and Thursday. Travel is about understanding different places, not expecting everywhere to work like home. The more we learn about how different cultures and economies function, the better experiences we have and the less we overpay. Safe travels, everyone. Do your research, ask questions, and don't be afraid to walk away from bad deals.